Whoa, did you see that robin then? That's by far my favourite bird. Well, I love all birds, but that one is absolutely gorgeous. Commit or eat shit. I think every now and then, like in my life, I have moments that are like really tough, as we all do. But I always find that like sooner or later, I find myself in a really beautiful position like this, and everything's just bliss. I can hear the birds, I can like hear the wind blowing through the trees, all the colours. Do you know what I mean? And I really feel like I'm cultivating a really strong relationship with myself, like a lot of self-compassion. And it's bliss, man. There's hard points where you've got to battle through, because you have to go through the challenge in order to get to grow. But like the growth these days, when I experience it, is just pure bliss. It's so nice, and it comes from the most basic things: birds, trees, nature, my bike. Mix them all together and it's just gorgeous, mate. I'm in heaven sometimes, honestly. And I feel like we can all try and like reach that state of bliss, but I definitely think that nature has something to do with it. So I don't know if you just saw that deer that's just watching me. I'm so lucky. Like, what a beautiful animal. It did that shot as well looked like something out of Lord of the Rings. Like, who's with me? That was insane. It just, like, with the light coming through, that was unreal. Alright, anyway, so today's book club is on Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Now, it's an important book, for me at least anyway, and that's because, let me get the book out, let me show you. Alright, so this is the book. Flow is basically a state of presence where concentration and your ability to control psychic thought, energy, which is just another word for controlling your focus, is so intense and so involved in what you're doing that it creates a zone, if you will, of flow where you're so immersed in an activity that worries, fear, even sometimes pain can just go away. And I can attribute it to, like, when I'm riding my bike when I'm riding my bike, like downhill for example, and I'm hitting the jumps, I'm so focused on the challenge, and the enjoyment of the activity meets the challenge, and the two of them, the challenge and the enjoyment, create the state of flow. And obviously it's not just biking. Different people can find it for different things. If you're rock climbing for example, the challenge of not falling off and of finding new holes and new ways of going up coincides with the joy that that individual finds from doing it. And when those two meet, that's what puts them in a state of flow. So if you're interested in that, this book covers it beautifully, and I did just want to like share some things with you from the book, things that I found really helpful. And the first one is obviously to be in better charge of psychic energy, to be like more in control of like how you focus. The second one is making the body as a whole work together with consciousness as part of an ordered system. So that's almost like saying when you put your body in, body and mind together, almost like when you create an ordered system, an activity that you can put your body into as well, it creates sort of like a cohesion between mind and body, and that can help you get into flow as well. So definitely as an individual then, it will help for you to find things that you actually that work for your body specifically, because we're all different. Like one person will find it in running, one person won't, and that's how you need to be aware of the fact that just because there's a fitness idea that the fittest is the person who can do everything, and you know, if you say I don't like doing that, then you're not like man enough because you can't do it all. Like that's just like, that's just smoke and mirrors, mate. It's water off a duck's back. There's no sustenance to that. If you've got an individual body that works well for something and you find joy in it and love the challenge, then go and do that. And then it doesn't really matter if you're not very good at dancing or you're not very good at drawing, because some people will be, and that's the beauty of human connection, is we can learn what everyone else is good at and share with it and share what we truly love, because that's what's going to inspire us all. Anyway, the next thing I really liked was straightening out of consciousness. You know, a lot of the times it can be like a really jumble in your own mind, like thoughts, feelings going everywhere, and some days it's really hard to try and gain that focus. And so there is, in these activities, these states of flow, a straightening out of consciousness, which I found to be very true when I tap into it. Another one I liked was to overcome the demands of the senses and make it possible for him or her to concentrate without growing tired or distracted. This is another good one. Like, for instance, when I'm riding uphill, I am so invested in the fact that I love the challenge of riding a bike up a hill. I know in my last video I said that I found it quite boring, but in hindsight, which is a beautiful thing, I actually really enjoyed the challenge. And because it was on a bike, there was just more enjoyment in it for me, because I love bikes. And so the two met, the challenge and the joy, and I was in a state of flow where the pain of it, the fatigue just wasn't bothering me. I was like, I love this feeling, I'm fired up for this feeling, this is a good feeling, it's burning, I want more. And I think that was a really good flow state, definitely. To reduce psychic entropy, which as much as possible before the actual attempts at mental control begin. I'm not really sure why I underlined that, that's a bit out of context, so I'll move on. I think psychic entropy is where something decreases, so to reduce psychic entropy is to prevent the decrease in your psychic energy, I imagine. I don't know, what do you think about that one? To achieve control over what happens in the mind. This is huge and it's very hard, and I think that's why I really want to try like some sort of like yoga or deep meditation, to try and like, I like meditation. I think meditation's a good idea for this one, because trying to control what comes in the mind, when you first begin to meditate, you become very aware of the challenge of the fact that your brain will just like beep 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 beep, your thoughts, feelings, mainly thoughts, will just be going flying everywhere. And then the practice is getting to the stage where you can be in a state of flow to the point where you're controlling everything that comes in and out of the mind, and that is such a skill, and one that I really want to practice. So yeah, one learns to keep things out of the mind, then one learns to keep them in. Yeah, basically. Both try to achieve, so this is talking about the same as yoga and flow, and he's saying that both try to achieve joyous, self-forgetful involvement through concentration. So there's this idea of forgetting yourself, of like what even is a self, like what even is like, you're just a being, just be. Do you know, and that's the idea of it, which I absolutely adore. Because then sometimes you're like, am I being myself? And then you're in your mind like, is this me? Am I being myself? Instead of just being. Do you know what I mean? In that moment, and there's something beautiful about it. It's like when you surf and you first stand up on a surfboard, your perception is like, it's mad. You're definitely not thinking, is this me? Am I being myself? You're just being, and that's forgetting the self, self-forgetful, and you're just so invested in who you are, which is being. It's beautiful, man. Yeah, so I really like that. And then this is very important. Made possible by a discipline of the body. Now, all of these things we've mentioned present some form of challenge. Some form of physical exertion, fatigue, pain even. You know, pain is relative to the individual, whether it's good or bad. There's just different degrees of it. But I would say that, for instance, going back to riding my bike, that's pain and a discipline that I'm willing to put myself through, because the joy of it outweighs the inconvenience that a bit of uncomfort, you know, presents. And that's one that I really want to explore, is not being afraid to say what you do and don't like. Flow attempts to fortify the self. Okay, so he's saying that flow attempts to fortify the self, whereas yoga and other Eastern techniques try to abolish it. So maybe I'm at a turning point there. Am I trying to abolish the self, or am I trying to fortify it? I'll leave it there. Great book. Amazing book. Most enjoy experiencing nature, whether that's a bike, whether that's a surfboard, whether that's running, whether that's whatever it is. I think it comes down to finding like the nature within yourself